Hey students, it is Harwood here, and today this is going to be a short demonstration on printmaking. And the kind of prints that we are going to be working with are block prints. And a block print it can be wood, it can be linoleum. I don't know if that's a Y or an I. Might be an I. Looks like it's an I. Or it could be the product that we are using, and that product is called soft cut. A lot of old Japanese art is wood block prints. So if you have seen the Great Wave that has the wave, and you see Mount Fuji in the background, and you see this little boat of dudes that look like they're getting ready to be crushed, you see this kind of print showing up on everything right now. That right there was originally a wood block print. So the way that we start a wood block or a block print, um, you will be working on a piece that's this big. You will have a tool that looks like this. We'll demonstrate these in a minute, but what we need to do first is we need to come up with a design. Your design can be sideways or tall, doesn't really matter. If you really want to display it diagonal, you can display it diagonal. But what I'm doing is just tracing out a couple of these. This is going to give me the general size of print that I need. Um, Now, some things to think about. I'm going to cut into this space. And when I cut into the space, I will eventually take a brayer and I'm going to roll ink on it. Ink is going to stick on everything that is raised, and everything that's recessed is going to show up the color of the paper. So if you're going to do words, this block was originally messed up because this is backwards. It needed to be carved in backwards, I mean. Um, and they just totally messed up on that. And so that's why you really need to plan it out first. I don't know how many prints I've done where I've been disappointed because I'm used to putting like a large object on this side of my paper and like leaving this side empty because I like that format. That's just something that I do. And when I do a print, I have to really think about, okay, it needs to be on this side rather than that side because it's going to print in reverse. So before I do that, though, I'm going to design this. Um, so let's say I wanted words. I'm going to show you how to design it straight on, and then you can go back and add. I'll show you how to make it so that you can flip it backwards. Okay, so I want to write out the name Hartwood. And so what I did is I drew myself a rectangle because I'm going to make these block letters. It's going to make my life easier if they're block letters. I gave myself a rectangle to put H, a rectangle for a rectangle for R, a rectangle for W, O, and D. You can see that I'm getting a little scrunchy down here. So what I'm going to do is erase this one, and I'm going to bring both of them just a little bit together so that they share an equal amount of space. So there's my H. Here is my A. And I can go back and doctor these any way that I want. Here's my R. It's going to come in here and it's going to come out here. If you um, if you don't have a lot of practice lettering and that's something you want to work on this year, I would totally encourage you to do that. It's kind of a dying art form, but I see it pop up a lot on Instagram and that stuff. There's a really great episode of Abstract, which is a TV show on Netflix, that demonstrates a typographer, a person who designs typeface fonts for your computer. That's his job. And what goes into it's pretty interesting. So hardwood, and maybe I want to do quarantine 2020. No, I don't know. So I'm going to do some sort of little design down here. And this is my thing. This is my design, or the beginning of my design. Now, I told you that in order to be able to print this so that it appears this way, there's a trick to it. And this is the trick. I used pencil and I went back and darkened all of my letters in. So that's the first thing that you really, really need to be aware of. I really, really put a lot of graphite on here. And what you're going to do is this is going to be a graphite transfer. So I'm going to line up my block. I'm going to make sure my block lines up here. So basically this is the edge where I drew. And this is where I'm going to drop that on. I'm going to make sure it lines up nicely. I can feel the top there. And if I color on the back, I'm rubbing that graphite right on there. So I've colored on here. When I peel that up, there's my lettering. And so I'm going to cut it out like that. I'm going to finish my design down here, and then I'm going to bring the video back up so that you'll see whatever image I put down here, and then I'm going to demonstrate cutting the image out. But this is the start of the design process, and this is where we're at. I hope you have a good day. Talk to you later.